Hey, what's up, everybody? Today on this video, I want to talk about something that I notice a lot with coaching clients, people that I work with, where people operate out of lack, where they focus on what they don't have, where they focus so much of their energy on if only I had this, whether it be how they look, how much money they have, confidence, a bigger email list, more connections, more resources, whatever. This belief that if only I had something that I don't have now will keep you stuck. Because you want to know what? The people who have what you wish you had were where you are at one time. And they didn't have what you have. And yet they made it work. And there's always ways to be creative, to create the life we want, to create the dreams that we want, even when we don't have the resources that we want to have. Oh, I don't have enough time because XYZ. Well, you know what? You can create the time. You can prioritize things. You can have the tough conversations to open up certain time. Well, I don't have the financial resources. This one's a huge one that people tell me. Well, can you sell some things? Can you go do a gig over somewhere to make a little bit of extra money to then bring it over here into your business? Well, no, because now I don't have the time. Okay, well, great. If all you're focused on is what you don't have, you're going to continue to be in the hamster wheel cycle of being upset, disappointed, never reaching your goals. It's a choice and it's a decision to actually get out of it. And you got to be intentional, or your brain will literally just be sucked like a vortex into focusing on, well, I can't because I don't have this. What if you chose to just say, how can I make the best out of what I do have today? You know, this is something that I myself, my whole life, I've felt as if I didn't have what I needed to reach my goals. But I always made the best out of it. Now, some of you might be looking at me saying, you've always had everything you've needed. Your mom is a successful coach and a multimillionaire. Yeah, awesome. But it wasn't that way when we started. And I have seen firsthand how to use limited resources to turn them into success. And I'm fascinated by how many people just shut their brain off completely because they believe, well, I just don't have what it takes. I don't have what I need. It wasn't given to me. This victim mentality. And what we have to do is we have to choose to stop operating out of the victim mentality of, well, I don't have, so I can't. Or this happened to me, so now I can't. I am now a victim of my circumstance, and so this is what I can get. I know that this might sound harsh, might sound like I lack empathy. It's because I want to see you succeed, and it's because I know that none of this stuff is actually legitimately a reality for why you can't accomplish your goals, because there are people that have less resources than you, that have more hardship than you, that have more hardship than us, that accomplish 10 times greater things. And so why is it that we just always focus on, well, I can't because XYZ. You know, my newborn baby was born 4 months ago, and I started to find myself making the excuse of, I don't have the time. And it took a choice to no longer let that be my reality and to say, you know what? How can I create the time? How can I make the time? How can I structure and design my life to have the time that I need to build my business? And so for you, it's a choice and it's a decision to do the hard things. And that's often what it is we're just avoiding making hard choices because we're so stuck on we want to have our cake and we want to eat it too. We want to have both things. And if we can't, then bless God, I'm going to have nothing. And I'm going to pout and I'm going to complain and I'm going to whine because I'm a victim and that's what life has given me. And that's what I see most people do. Most people that I meet go through life just accepting what's been given to them and then whining and complaining that nothing goes their way. Maybe you're watching this saying, no, I don't do that. I'm a fighter. I'm a winner. I accomplish things. And yet you go out there and you complain about what other people aren't doing that you want them to do. What if, instead of focusing on everything else outside of you, you said, you know what, how can I take personal responsibility and do my very best today? How can I make the choice that no matter what is going on in my life, that I'm going to not, like, you don't have to do everything and a million things and eat an elephant in one day, but what's one thing that maybe you've been putting off and procrastinating for the last 6 months that would move the needle forward for you? Maybe it's a tough conversation that you need to have. Maybe it's a hard decision. Maybe it's choosing to say no instead of saying yes to everything. Choosing to have boundaries even when it might upset and piss people off. Well, I can't because I have to do this. Don't have enough time. Whatever your thing is, you can figure it out. I believe it. I believe you can. I believe that nothing is so bad of a situation that you are so stuck that you can't get out of it, that you can't figure it out. And so I just want to encourage you is to start to flip your perspective, not just from a lack of what I don't have and what's not going my way and what I wish was different, and to break out of that thinking, to intentionally stop yourself from thinking in that direction. It might be the hardest thing you've ever done in your entire life, because you've always thought that way. You've always looked at life that way. And you've always operated out of that complainer mindset of judging what's not going how it should, quote unquote. I know that because that's where I was. And I know that it's a choice that you can make to no longer do that. To say, you know what? I'm grateful for the life that I have right now, and I can accomplish anything I set my mind to, and no longer letting anything outside of you decide the life that you have. That's the choice that you got to make, and most people will refuse to make that choice because they're too stuck living the existence that they've always had, and it's just too comfortable and easy to just complain and blame because they don't want to take personal responsibility. What if you just did one thing? What if you just decided to make a decision, just one tough decision this week that you've been avoiding, that you've been putting off, that will start to move things forward for you? What would happen? What would happen? Just think about it. If you had all the resources that you wanted, I'll tell you what would happen. You would come up with 50 other things to complain as to why you now can't reach your goal, because that's it's a habit. It's literally a habit that you have of looking at what I don't have. And so once you have it all, now you're going to find all the other stuff you don't have and all the other stuff you don't have. Instead of just saying, you know what? Here's what I do have, and I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to love my life. And that'll change everything for you. Listen, I know that this has been a challenging video. Might even piss some of you off, and you might unfollow me. That's okay. I needed to say it. And I hope that for others of you, it encourages you not to strive, not to stress, not to operate out of burnout. It's sad that people hear what I said and think that that's what I'm encouraging, because I'm not. But just to do maybe one thing this week that you've been putting off and see the magic that starts to happen.